Hi, welcome. Now, in today's lesson, we'll be learning how to use our Casio or Casio calculator. Now, you might be doing grade 10, 11, or even grade 12. If you are doing mathematical literacy, there are basic functions that you need to know how to use. So let's get started. Now, we cannot be talking about Casio without having the man himself. So let's bring up Mr. Casio. So now on the top left, I would like to call this Mr. Casio. Let's make him look like he's the star of the dish. There we go. See? Now he looks like what we are here to talk about. So when you turn on your calculator, it might look like this. Now your calculator might look different. It might be black or even pink or even gray, but the functions, they should do as I will illustrate here. So now, the first thing that I would like to teach you, I would like to teach you 5 functions that are most important, or they must know under mathematical literacy. So the first function I would like to teach you, it's the function that has to do with a shift. So you see, there's a shift button here, and there's also an alpha button here. Now the reason why, it's simple. You might notice in your calculator there are a lot of colors. There's a white directly printed on the button, and then there is something also directly printed above that same button. So you might be asking yourself, how do I access this B? How do I access this fact? How do I access this NPR? Or how do I access this GCD? So that's why you, in your calculator, you have a shift and an alpha. So to do that, since a shift is in yellow or in gold, let's say shift here. And also, since our alpha is in pink, let's say alpha here. So now, for the purpose of this example, we are going to use this fraction button. Now, I will use a white to draw this function button so that you can understand. So let's say this is the button. I did not look exactly, but you see where I am going. Something like this. So on top of it, let's color code it exactly. There is a mixed fraction button just above it. And then in pink, there is a divide R button as well. So it's something like this. So when I click on this button, you will notice that a fraction is going to come up like it did here. And the reason why that is, it's because each and every button on your calculator, when you click on it, you are telling it that I want to see what is directly printed on that button. You press here, you're not going to see CONV, you're going to see an 8 because it's what is directly printed. When I click here, I'm not going to get NPR or GCD. I'm just going to get a multiply because that's what is printed. When I click here, I'm not going to get an REC. I'm going to get a subtraction because that is what is printed. So the reason why we have a shift and an alpha, it's so that we can get what is printed above the button. So let's cancel this. Now, if I want to get this mixed fraction, because this mixed fraction has the same color coding as the shift button, then in order for me to get this, I need to click a shift first. So this is how it works. If I want to get this mixed fraction, I will first click a shift, and the calculator will show me that I have indeed clicked a shift by showing a small s there at the top, right? When you see a small s, you know you have clicked a shift, and you are telling the calculator that I don't need what is directly printed on the button, but I rather need what is gold or what is yellow above that button. So when I click here, see, now it's a mixed fraction. And then if you want to access this R divide, since the color coding is pink, in order for me to access this, I would have to click the alpha first. So let's cancel the mixed fraction. So if I click an alpha, again, you're going to get an A that shows you that the calculator now understands what you are looking for. You are looking for everything on the calculator that is pink. So after clicking the alpha, I can also click here. See, I get the divide by r. So that's how it works. That's why we have these two functions in each and every button here. If you want to access something that is pink, you have to click an alpha. Something that is gold or yellow, you have to first click a shift. Now let's cancel these. So we are going to say that these two, or this one, this was function 1. So I wanted to write it in white. This is function 1. Now, function number 2 is how to clear your calculator. So let's write here, clear your calculator. Now, this is very important. The reason why this is important is simply because sometimes you might find that your calculator turns itself on when you're putting it inside a bag, and after putting it in the bag, it turns itself on and it changes the modes. Now, here, as you can see, it's a written mode or setup. Now, if a calculator can mistakenly come here and all of a sudden it changes the mode that is in, maybe let's say it ends up in mode 4. You see, now you have a problem because this is not the standard normal mode of the calculator. And sometimes when you use your calculator and you're getting awkward answers, it's simply because it's in the wrong mode. And now another reason might be maybe one of your siblings took your calculator and they were messing around with your calculator and they ended up in a different mode. Why would they be doing that? Well, because they haven't watched my videos. So you having watched my videos, you will know that each and every time when you turn on your calculator, you have to clear your calculator. Now, how do you clear your calculator? Well, it's simple. First, you have to click a shift. Remember what I said about a shift? A shift tells the calculator that you're looking for what is above. And now, what is this above that we are looking for? It's this CLR, which stands for clear. So that means we are going to click a shift first. And after clicking a shift, we are going to click a 9. So it's going to be shift. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. And then it's going to be a 9. After a 9, it's going to be, so let's say, shift 9. And then it's asking us, do you want to clear the setup, or do you want to clear the memory, or you want to clear everything? Well, because we don't know what our siblings was doing or what the calculator was doing to itself while it was in a bag, we'll say 3. We want to clear everything. So that means that, let me put this one in green. The next is 3. And then after 3, equal sign to show that yes, indeed, we are resetting everything. Equal sign. Let's put the equal sign in blue. So the equal sign will be in blue. And lastly, you have to click AC. Back to the normal mode. Let's put that one in red. Back to the normal mode, which is the AC. So you click the AC. So to reset your calculator, let's go over it again. First, it's a shift. Secondly, it's a 9. Then all. Then equal sign. Then AC. So I see I put an equal sign and then an AC here. Sorry about that. I was supposed to say, where's my blue? Blue, come here. So I was supposed to put an arrow here that shows them an AC. And then an AC. And then we are back to the normal mode. That's the second function. The third function is the answer button. This one right here. On the left of your equal sign. So let's put it here. Let's say this is your third. Now, the reason why you need to use this, most importantly, under data handling, you have a lot of values. So let's say you were doing your data handling. Maybe you are doing a mean. So let's cancel this. Let's say you are calculating a mean, and now all these values that you are putting there, and mind you, they might have decimals. So these are a lot of values that you're putting in there. And then you're dividing them by the total. So let's go down. Let's say maybe they are 10, right? Or maybe they are 8. And now you click the equal sign, right? And then after clicking the equal sign, you forgot to write the answer, which is 7.5. Sometimes you didn't forget to write that the answer is 7.5. Sometimes it's the fact that your calculator, you mistakenly press the delete or you mistakenly press the AC, just like this. You see, all your data or all the values that you put in, they're now gone. Now, what can you do? Well, in that regard, this is what you're supposed to do. Your calculator has a memory. So you are supposed to come here and click answer. You're telling the calculator that I'm looking for what I was working on. See the answer that I was working on now, that is no longer on the screen. That's what I'm looking for. And then you can come here and say equal to. See, it's giving you the same answer. So that's why you also need to know how to use the ANS function. That's what it's there for. Another way in which you can use this one, it's simple. So like I was saying, you've been working on these data handling values, and then you have received the answer. Yes, you have gotten the answer. Maybe the answer has a lot of decimals. So let's say you were doing this 5 plus 6. Maybe you had to divide it by 12, let's say by 125. Now this is what I want to show you. See, it has just 3 decimals. Now because it has just 3 decimals, there is still an answer that you need to get from this answer. So having put off the calculator or having cleared what was on the screen, you can simply say, let's say you had to divide that answer that had 3 decimals. Instead of still inputting it manually, no, what you can do is that you can say that answer, and then whatever it is that you wanted to do to it, maybe you wanted to add a 2, and then your calculator will understand. You see, now it's a 7. That is what you wanted to do. So that's why you have to understand how to use this ANS function. And then number 4. So number 4, we are simply going to talk about the change function. So this here, see this S to D function. This is most importantly around the fact that you would be asked about probability. So in mathematical literacy, probability, there are a lot of questions around probability. So a question might be something like, determine the probability in a decimal form. So remember, if we are talking about probability, it can be in 3 ways, right? So I'll color code it. It can be in a decimal form, or it can be in a fractional form or in a fraction. And lastly, it can also be in a percentage. So let's say the question was like, determine the probability of randomly selecting a girl wearing red in class. So let's say the girl wearing red in class, they said they want the answer in a decimal form. So let's say that there are about 5 girls wearing red in class, and the total number of those girls in class, it's from, let's say there are 18 in class. So 5 are wearing red, 18 is the total number of girls in class. Now, when you put this in your calculator, so let's say fraction 5 over 18, we're going to get the same one. It's 5 over 8. It's still a fractional form, but they told us they want the answer in a decimal form. So we can come here and say change. You see, immediately when you click this change button, it gives you the decimal format. So we can round that off. It will be 0.28. So this button here can be used to switch from fraction to decimal, decimal to fraction, and like that. And now lastly, the last and the most important function, and most importantly, we are going to go in depth with regards to this function when we get to speed, time, and distance. So let me acquire this, because it looks like I'm running out of property here. So let me acquire this property over here. So with regards to this, there's a function here. You see here, This is a degrees, minutes, and seconds function. It's written fact B at the top. This is your go-to guy when it comes to time. Now, the reason why that is, your calculator understands. So this function is for degrees, minutes, and seconds. So like this, degrees, minutes, and seconds. But under mathematical literacy, this is what we don't even need to think about. We'll have this as hours, and then, yes, minutes, nothing to change, and also seconds. Yes, that's what we are going to do. So now, since we know that our calculator understands what hours are, minutes are, and seconds are, that means we can use it to calculate time. But it always has to be in this format. Now, this is what I mean. When you click a number first, let's say I clicked a 2, I have to click this function. Now the calculator realizes that, oh, he or she is talking about time. And that time in particular is 2 hours. If, let's say, I also had minutes, maybe let's say there are 30 minutes. After clicking 30, I also have to go back and click this function. Remember, this is important. If you click and you do not click this function, you are going to get an error because your calculator no longer understands what you're trying to do. It's most important that after clicking each and every number, you come here. Now your calculator realizes that, oh, he or she is talking about 2 hours, 30 minutes. Let's say maybe also had seconds. So also had seconds. So you're going to click, it's 6 seconds. And you come here again. If I click an equal sign here, you'll understand that your calculator has given you these hours, these minutes, and these seconds. So it's telling you that actually what you are telling me is that it's 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 6 seconds. So that's why it's important each and every time after clicking a number, you also come to this function. And also it has to be in this format. So now someone might be asking me, okay, what am I supposed to do now if I only have 0 hours and actually I have 30 minutes? One thing, maybe also 14 seconds. What you have to put in mind is that the calculator is already set to understand the format, and the format is hours, minutes, seconds. So because you also already understand this format, this is how you're going to input minutes and seconds without hours. Come to your calculator. Because you do not have hours, then you are going to say 0. When you say 0 and then you click this, your calculator understands, oh, now we're talking about 0 hours. The number that you're going to click next, the calculator, okay, sorry about that. Your calculator already understands that, oh, now these are minutes. And then lastly, what you're going to click lastly, oh, these are seconds. That's why if I say equals, it's going to give me 0 hours, 30 minutes, and 14 seconds. So that is how time works. And now I can add this. So let's say I wanted to, maybe I had a question whereby I wanted to add, so let's say I had a question whereby I wanted to add 30 minutes, 14 seconds. I wanted to add it to 2 hours, 14 minutes. So let's say there were no seconds, just 2 hours and 14 minutes. So what I would do, so let me say H here so you can understand, and M here. So if I wanted to add this together, what I would do, I would come to my calculator first. Remember, the first time does not have hours. So it's important for me to say 0. Calculator, I don't have hours, I'm telling it. But I do have minutes, and also I also have seconds. I would like to add to that 2 hours and 14 minutes and 0 seconds, since I do not have seconds. And now when I say equal to, it's going to tell me that actually the total time is, so the total time is 2 hours, these are hours, 44 minutes, 14 seconds. So that's how your calculator works. Even if maybe you wanted to change, so sometimes we will get to this in depth. Sure, you might realize something like this: distance, speed, and time. Now, the time is usually in hours when we are trying to calculate. Let me make this simple example. So, let's say they asked you to calculate time. So the formula for time, and don't worry about this, we are going to get here when we get to paper 2, is distance over speed. So let's say they gave you distance and speed. So let's say for distance, they gave you that it's 150 kilometers. And for speed, you were traveling at 100 kilometers per hour. The answer that you're going to get is going to be a whole number. It's going to be a decimal number. But they said that kindly, let's have the answer, right? Answer in hours, minutes, and seconds. So let's come to my calculator. When I get to the calculator and I simply click 150 over, okay, sorry about that. Yes, so if I say 150 and then it's over 100 and then I say equal, do you see now? You already understand the change pattern, right? So it says it's 1.5 hours, because what are we calculating? Time. And always when you're calculating time using this formula, you're going to get it in hours. But then the question said they want to see my answer in hours, minutes, and seconds. How can I get there? Well, it's simple. Come to the magic button. There we go. It's telling you that 1.5 hours, it's actually 1 hour and 30 minutes and 0 seconds. So that's how it works. So we'll get to that in depth. But yes, thank you for tuning in. So that is all with regards to a Casio or a Casio. And I'll also be doing a similar video, but now it will be focused on the sharp calculator because some of you are using a sharp calculator. So yeah, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. And that is not even a negotiation. And also don't forget to share. You don't want me looking for you because you did not subscribe and share. I'm kidding. Anyways, keep well.